Greetings, this is Shquestra from Voices from Wise Women. Want to say hello, hello family, and how's everyone doing? And all is well over here in Arizona. So what I'm going to do is get us started. So before we start, we always do our 30 seconds of meditation, but I want to talk to you about the card that I pulled for you today because there's really some interesting cards. One of the cards that I pulled said, "My thoughts are creative," because today we're going to talk about energy. I talked to you last week and I talked about who you really are and do you love who you want to be enough to give up who you really, no, do you love who you want to be enough to give up who you are? So the whole thing is about who you are and how do you get to be who you really are. And so I gave you a lot of information and resources, but I just thought that there were some things that I left out that I really wanted to fill in some gaps so you really understand about becoming who you are. So when I pulled the card, it says, "My thoughts are creative," which means today I'm going to get some things that are very, very interesting with your thoughts. And then I pulled one that says denial, not fear, but I replace it with the insight of awareness, because you're going to get some things today that may make you feel afraid, but it's about, you're going to replace it with insights and awareness, and then you can choose, because we always have choices. And so I just want to share that. So when I pulled one for myself, because I said I really want to see what I pulled, and I pulled one that says self-esteem. And I said self-esteem, and it says, "I possess gifts of the soul that benefit me and others." And then I said, yeah, I got it. So it's about me sharing with you all the things that I have learned and the knowledge. And the universe keeps telling me to share all these things with voices of from the wise women. And I think I said, God, universe, what is that all about? But it says just share. So I'm going to share some things with you. And some of them may seem, it's going to give you some things to really think about and to really ponder. So we're going to talk about that. So let's do our 30 seconds to talk, so we can really talk about being open and being receptive to what you're going to hear. So let's do our 30 seconds. Nice and gentle tap. All right. So I have this thing and I really love, and it says, "Don't be afraid to sparkle." Because sometimes we're afraid to really shine. Can't be afraid to sparkle. See that? I love that. All right, so we're going to, let's see what the calendar says. "No one else gets to choose for me. I make my own choices." Huh? Isn't that interesting? I just talked about choices. So let's go. Here we go. So it was really hard for me to share some of these things today, and I thought about it. I was up last night very late just trying to decide how to bring this information to you, how to share the information. So we're going to just go and dive right into it. So I don't think people realize how powerful you are. I don't think, family, you realize how powerful you are, and that Everything you need is what's inside of you. And we talked about that last week. Know thyself. Everything is inside of you. So you have to look at it in terms of the egg that your mother released and then the sperm from your father and how it ignited. And out of all the eggs, your egg was the one that got fertilized. So that in itself is a miracle, because there were some eggs that were released and they were not fertilized, and some sperm went off or whatever. But one egg and one sperm out of billions and so many eggs coming down, your egg down, it was fertilized. So there was spark. And so that in itself is a miracle. So you are in the womb, right? And when you're in the womb, you are being downloaded with all this information from the universe. So all this information is being downloaded. So that's why we always talk about know that self, because everything is within inside of you. Everything is within you. So I was thinking about babies that are not born. And some babies are not born. And part of that has to do with some babies only want to be in the womb. Some babies don't want to be born. And some babies are in the womb and maybe they come out and they are born, but they don't want to stay here. That has nothing to really do with the mother, the father, anything. It's about the choices and the contract that the baby or the being has decided before they're even born. So I know sometimes that's really hard, but children and beings, they have a path, and we all have our path. But those that are here on the planet now, you chose to be here. You chose your parents. And I know sometimes that could be really hard. Why would I choose these people? Like, geez, they got some real issues going on. But you chose them because of the lessons they bring to you and because of the lessons you bring to them as well. So that's something you have to really ponder. And that's also about personal responsibility and choices that you made. And most people don't want to deal with the personal responsibility. You want to think all the time that it's someone else's fault that whatever's happening. But a lot of times it's your personal responsibility. So we have to realize that children have their path. And some of you have children, teenagers now, and you're thinking, oh my God, they're just so out of control. But they have their paths as well. And sometimes we can guide them on their paths, and sometimes they're going to reject it. Sometimes they come back later, sometimes they don't. But we all have our path. And I think for me, I had to realize that one of my granddaughters got very, very sick, and I was very concerned, and I had to release her and turn her over to the Creator and said she has her own path. And then I told her some things that she needed to do, and then she did it, and then she got better. But it's about children having their own path. And when you have a baby, this baby that's born has just come from the universe, just come from the other side. And a lot of times when those children come, they have a lot of intuition. A lot of them are clairvoyant and what have you. And we as adults have to recognize that and have to nourish some of the gifts that these children bring. And a lot of times we don't. And we start teaching them to negate those gifts. Like when you have a baby and they're around certain people and the person picks up the baby and the baby squirms or starts crying, you need to take that baby away from that person, because there's something with the vibration or the energy that that baby is not vibing with. Doesn't mean the person's bad, but it's something about the energy that that baby doesn't vibe with. And so we have to start showing children how to recognize that, because that's very, very important. So children can hear, they can see, they can smell, and so they're sensitive to all those energy. How many times have you had a child and you say, oh, go over there and sit on Uncle so-and-so, go see Uncle so-and-so, and the baby, is kind of hesitant about going to see the person, and then the baby gets right up on it, and then the baby kind of pulls back, and the person's like, oh, how you doing? The baby's like, oh, and then you say, oh, no, don't be like that. Go ahead. Then you're right there showing the baby, negate what I feel, push past it, delete it, and go and do that. And see, and then you start teaching the child, don't pay attention to your intuition. Listen to what I say. Don't pay attention to your intuition. I am very conscious or mindful about children and their energy. One of the things that when my granddaughter was little, we were in the grocery store, and the youngest one was in the little cart part, and the oldest one was standing next to me. And this lady from across was, "Oh, it's a cute little girl." And my granddaughter tugged at my lesson. She said, "Don't let her come over here. She's bad. She's bad. She's not a good woman. She's not a good woman." I said, "Whoop, whoop, whoop," and just turned the shopping cart around, whoop, and kept on going, because she was feeling something from that woman coming toward her sister. She said, "Don't let her come near my sister. Don't let her near my sister." That you really listen to children when they say that. And that could be just for them. That's not be for you, but it's for them, because there's something with that vibration that doesn't seem right for them. I think it's important that we are mindful when we're raising with our children, because we're talking about energy, and they're picking up on that energy. And what I like about little kids that are under 5 is that they tell you all kinds of things. They have no filter. They feel very relaxed, and they say whatever it is they need to say. So this lady told me that she was buying this beautiful dress. She was going to an event, and she was in this fitting room. She had this beautiful dress, and she was wearing it. She just felt so good about it. And this little boy was sitting out there, and he's swinging his legs. He's sitting in the dressing room right outside, because his mother was in there. And so the lady came out with her dress and everything. And the little boy said, "Oh my God, you look so beautiful." And the lady's saying, "Oh my goodness." And the little boy said, "You look just like Big Bird." And the lady was like, "Oh my God, oh my God." And she ran back into the fitting room, because she said the sales lady was telling her, "Oh, how beautiful she looked." But she said when the little boy said she looked like Big Bird, she knew, no, something's wrong. And she didn't buy the dress. And so the little kid was just saying how he felt in terms of his vibe. And so, what we're going to do today is just really talk about how to tap, or how to rediscover the energy that we have, used to tap into, and how we have pulled away from. So we're going to talk about rediscovering it. So anyway, little children have all this energy until they start to school. Most of the time when they start to school, then they start, "Oh, don't daydream," or "You didn't really hear that," or "You didn't really see that," or "You didn't really smell that," or "What do you mean you're smelling something?" Because some people have the energy of the sight, or where they can smell, and they can come in a room and say, "Something ain't right," and I got to go. My daughter has that. She can go in a room and then she can smell that something is not right, and she will leave in a hot second. Some people have sight. Sometimes I can go in and see different things, and even though somebody's saying something, I can see their energy behind them, which is saying something else. Some people are hear. Sometimes I can hear someone who they're saying something to me, but I hear something else coming out of their mouth. So we all have those kind of energies. We all have that. Not just me, not just my family. Everybody has that. But most of us are afraid to tap into it because of the conditioning we've had from movies that we've seen, and it's all spooky and scary. Or your mother tells you, "You didn't hear that, you didn't see that," or you go somewhere and you're a kid and you feel like something scary or whatever. It could have been something that happened in that room that you didn't know about. Could have been something that happened in an apartment. Could have been something that happened in that basement that you don't know about, but you're picking up the vibrations. So we have to be able to start to rediscover that and tap into that. Because if you tap into those vibrations, you will be led down the right path. And I know it's pretty scary. Now there's so much going on and people are losing their jobs. And I was telling my daughter, I said, how am I going to talk to people when people are losing their jobs and not paying their rent? And she's like, "Mom, you just gotta tell them. You just gotta tell them what you need to know, what they need to know, and just share things with." Because I said, I understand that people feel hopeless. I understand that people feel like, what am I going to do? But part of it has to do is tap into the energy of what's going on. Because what I'm seeing out of this COVID thing, I'm seeing a lot of people creating new opportunities for themselves that they hadn't before, because they have no choice but to come up with something new to pay their rent. So your tuition is always there. It is always there, but you've been overriding it. And so now to the point, tuition's kind of like, "Oh, why should I even kick in, because she ain't gonna listen no way." But if you listen, and get real still, you will hear it. And people say, why do you have to get real still? Because there is so much energy going on. Everything around is energy. Everything around is energy. And so if you still yourself, then you can tap into the true energy that is there for you. But you have to still yourself. And people say, oh, I can't still myself. Too much going on. Sometimes you have to go in the bathroom, close the door, and just take a deep breath and then still yourself. At my job, if it was real crazy, at the office, I would close my office door and then still myself. You don't have the office, like I said, you can go in the bathroom. Nobody will bother in there. Even in your own home, you can shut the bathroom door, turn the water like you're in the shower or whatever, and just really still yourself and say, Creator, what is my next step? I don't know which way to go. Please show me. And I'm telling you, I am telling you, you will hear a voice, or you will see, or you will go someplace that will lead you to where you need to go. So people are saying, what? That sounds really, that sounds hokey pokey, scary and whatever, but it's not. It's really not. I've been places where people say, oh, you should go to this event. I'm like, I don't want to go to that event. Yeah. Well, come on, let's go. And I'll go, okay. And I'll go. And I'll go to the whole event, somebody's speaking or whatever's going on. I'm thinking, And then all of a sudden, one thing will happen. And I'll be like, I got it. That's why I was supposed to be here, to hear that person say whatever it was. So the point is that we have to be open, we have to listen, and we have to be obedient. Because sometimes we're not obedient. And we've been, good example. So I like to give examples, and I always use myself. So I'm driving down 110 in Los Angeles, right? And I get to a certain spot, and I would hear something say, get off. So I get off the freeway and then take the rest of the way home. Come to the same spot. It says, get off, and go home. Got to that one day driving down the same freeway, get to that same spot, and it says, get off. And then I become spiritually arrogant. And I said, why I got to get off? I keep coming here and ain't nothing happened. As soon as I get by that spot, a big tire rolls off the truck, runs in front of me. I go to swerve, hit a car, hit the rollaway wall, and then my car goes up in the air, comes over, flips over, and goes bam, right on the freeway. So when you go up, I just left my body. I just knew it was black, and all I hear was bam when I hit upside down the car, right? And I opened my eyes, and I'm like, oh God, am I dead? So I always heard, when you're dead, you see your people around. So I'm looking outside the car, and all I see is these Latinos, and I'm thinking, no, I don't think these are my people. So I guess I must still be alive, right? So then my right leg was up and wedged in the dashboard. So I'm thinking, oh my God, I know something has to be broken. And if I move, I'm going to feel this pain, but I got to do it. So I took a deep breath, moved my leg, didn't feel anything, moved it all the way out, all the way down. I'm like, okay, so I'm still upside down, but the window's down. And people are like, oh my God, so I just kind of slid myself out and then stood up. And people are, oh, no, sit down. Well, I was really upset with myself because I had been told to get off, but I didn't get off. What I did was I became spiritually arrogant and said, why do I have to get off? Because you have to keep getting off and nothing happens. And so I learned from them, when spirit tells you to do something, you need to do it, especially when you tune in. That doesn't make any sense. Now, somebody just asked about my mother. My mother's doing okay. She's just moving forward in her disease, which is really, really challenging. Sometime I have to come on here and talk to you about Alzheimer's and dementia and how that's really, really working and really ravaging our community, because a lot of people are getting it. So I have to talk about that. But she's doing pretty good. My brother's in charge of it right now. So anyway, back to what I was talking about in terms of the energy. It's about, you have to listen and you have to be obedient. You have to listen to what it is saying to you, and you have to follow it. So for me, the biggest challenge was one of my spiritual teachers takes me, we should do full moon ceremonies. And I think I've shared it before. Some of you may not have heard. And so we went to our full moon ceremony at the beach, at the ocean. And we get there, and there's something going on at the ocean. And as soon as we get there at the path, there's a dog barking, a black dog barking. He's kind of saying like, don't come here, don't come here. And so she's like, black dog, we're black, dog is barking. Okay, we need to find another spot. So we go to another spot, and the spot is by the marina, and it's pitch black, just pitch black. And so, but you have to go down this ravine to where we're going to do our offering. So she goes down the ravine. As soon as I step to go down, as clear as day, I hear something say, "Don't move." And I'm like, what the hell? She's like, white American name, and my Native American name or spiritual name that I use is White Star. So she's like, White Star, come down this ravine. And as soon as I got ready, my foot got ready to move, I hear, "Don't move." So I said, oh, shoot. So the other lady behind me, because there's a group of us to go, she's like, "Girl, what are you doing?" And she goes by, and as soon as she stepped right past me, something was very slick, and she slid down the whole thing. Now it's pitch black, so we can't even see her sliding down, and the water's there. So if you had hit the water, that would have been it, because it was so dark we couldn't even see where the person was. And I hear once again something say, "Don't move." So this other woman's behind me named Hawkfeather, and I was like, "Hawkfeather, you didn't move?" She said, "You didn't move, I didn't move. I don't know what's going on." I said, "Well, Spirit's telling me not to move." So the sister slides all the way down, but she doesn't go in the water. She goes right to it. She gets up, she's all scarred and everything. And I said, "I can't come down there because something's telling me I can't move from this spot. I can't come down there." So she says, okay. So she comes, my spiritual teacher comes back up, sister comes back up, and we find another spot. She says, "Well, this spot, White Star, I don't think, the ocean's going to come up and take this offering and blah, 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 blah." So as soon as we get to the new spot, we put our offering down, the ocean came up, took the offering, and then went back into the ocean. And so for me, that was a really good lesson, because here was one of my teachers saying to me to come and do something, but Spirit kept telling me, "Don't move." And I followed Spirit, because I've figured that if I had stepped, I would have slid all the way down and probably would end up in that ravine. And so sometimes you have to follow, no matter what anybody says, you have to follow what Spirit is telling you, or the universe, or God, or Buddha, whatever it is that you call this voice that you hear. You have to listen to it. And so I learned a serious lesson behind that. And so what I'm saying to you is that the energy is always out there. We have to think that we are made of energy. The planet is made of the energy, and that there are signals and waves and the ancestors, and they are speaking to you, but most of us don't listen. And just think, you got your grandmothers and great-grandmothers and great-great-grandmas, and they're out there, and they're like, "We out here, we here to help you," but ain't nobody asking. And they're not going to help you unless you ask them, because that would be an invasion. And so you have to ask them, or as the sister was telling me, you have to petition them. You have to petition your ancestors. And once you petition them, then you have to let it go and let the energy work for you. And sometimes it's going to work in crazy ways, or things that you would never even think will happen, but it's about you releasing it, and it's about letting it go. So when we talk about petitioning, we're talking about the power of speech, and we're talking about the energy of the tongue. And so we talk about the laws, the 21 laws of Ma'at. We talk about not over speaking, because the power of the speech is very, 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 very important. Yes, somebody said you have to listen. Yes, you have to listen. You have to listen to what's being. Yes, please. I know you started with one more time. Thank you for being bold. Yeah, this is not easy to share this, because people think, "What the hell is wrong with Shquestra?" I used to work with her at the thing, and she was never like that, because I keep a lot of this to myself, because most people think, "Well, whatever," but I use the tools on myself. And so I want to share all these tools with you, and how to listen. So the power of the speech is, people don't understand because the first causal level is thought. So you have this thought, right? But when you give it sound, when you blow life into it, then it's going to manifest. It's going to manifest. What happens is people say, well, ain't nothing manifest for me. Because what happens is you put it out there, then you bring it back. You put it out there, then you keep it back. You put it out there, then it comes back. So it's like starting a car. You start, then stop. Then you start, then stop. Then you start, then stop. You won't get anywhere. So it's about putting it out there, blowing it out there, putting it in the universe, and letting it go. Don't keep, I asked the universe to give me some money, they didn't give me nothing. Well, now you done called it back. I said I wanted to go back to school, but don't seem like I can get scholarships. You called it back because the power of the speech is so, so important. I hear sisters all the time, or I've heard younger sisters say, you know, so-and-so's a bitch. So she says bitch, and then she inhales it back in. So she's inhaling it back in. So a lot of times when you say something, it's really about yourself more than it is about them. So if you understand the speech, you have to be very, very mindful of what you say about people, because you're also putting that out there and bringing that same energy back into yourself. So people say, what do you mean by that? It's not about, like people say, oh, are you judging somebody? No, I'm not. Sometimes I'm not judging. Sometimes I'm just witnessing what's going on. But it's about, how can I say this? It's about knowing the power that you have. And when you understand the power that you have, everything, then it makes you accountable and be personally responsible for whatever is going on with your energy, because you can change your energy and shift it at any time you want to. That's why I was talking about the fact that when you wash your children's clothes, what kind of energy are you putting into those clothes? And then you send them off to school and want to know why the teacher's calling you up and saying they're acting a certain way when you put that energy into the children's clothes, or when you're making their bed, or when you're doing their food. All that is energy. When I go someplace one time, his brother was making a sandwich. I said, brother, you making that sandwich with love? And he's like, yeah, sister, I'm making it with love. And he smiled at me. Yeah, because I want that energy, be loving energy when you when you're making a sandwich or whatever it is, you know, for me. So that's about the energy of the person. So I always go places and compliment people, make them feel good, especially when we're doing interaction, because we're exchanging energy. Why I want to go in and give somebody a hard time? Why I want to give them a bad attitude? And sometimes it's not even their fault for whatever is going on. They're just doing their job, right? So I went to the DMV. I was going to, my license had expired. It was just a big mess. So I had to go to DMV, which means I had to take the test again, the driving test, especially in Chicago, they're really jacked up. So I go to this guy, I said, you take my test and stuff. He's like, oh man, you should have come in early, blah, blah, blah. So I said, oh, I like your shirt. And he's like, oh, okay, yeah, thank you. And so we did all this. I had to go and pay for it and take the test, and, you know, go all the way around, do all this thing. An hour later, it's time for me to do my driving test. So you get in your car and you drive up, and when I open up the door for the other person, it's the same guy. And I said, wait a minute, didn't I see you when I just paid for it? He's like, yeah, somebody was off today, so I got to do this. And he said, nah, don't even worry about it. Just go up there, turn around, you pass. Now, had I had a nasty attitude and said, well, I got to pay for this, and well, I got to be in this line, then when it come time for him to get in there and we do the driving test, he would have been like, okay. He would have probably made me go on the freeway, go down, around, and still could have not passed me. But what did I do? When each person that I dealt with, I gave them really nice energy because I wanted to get in and out and I wanted to have this completed. It doesn't take anything from me just to have that kind of energy and exude that kind of energy. It really doesn't. So once again, that was my energy, and then what? I gave it sound, and I gave a speech to it. So I want to give you something. Oh, don't overspeak. I have this little thing up here that I want to make sure I understand it. And see, what I want to use is the energy or the universe, or whatever you want to call it. It doesn't know good or bad. It only responds to what you petition it. So if you say that you really want to give back to the community and you want to do it in a really good way, and you don't really know, it'll tell you what you need to do. It will work with your energy. Or some people say, I really want to open up a homeless shelter, but I don't know what to do. It will provide you with the teachers. It will provide you with the resources you need to have. But you can't say you want to do it and then next day talk about how you don't have it, because then you start pulling it back. So you reel it out, you pull it back. You reel it out, you pull it back. You reel it out, you pull it back. And then you want to know why you don't have certain things. I really want to have a man in my life. Black man ain't shit. What? How does that equate? You throw it out and then you pull it back and you negate it. And then you give it sound because you're not even thinking it. You're giving it sound by using your lips to say it. So you're thinking it and then you say it. And then you want to know why things are not manifesting. It's about your energy, which is your personal responsibility, which means you got to look at yourself. So who are you? And do you want to change? And do you want to invest in yourself to get what you really want? I've been fortunate enough to get about everything I wanted to have just by being obedient, listening, doing my vision board. And the vision board, all this is like taking my thoughts and putting it on a board so I can be real clear about what I'm thinking about. And then here's mine. I have a big board, right? So I can add stuff to it, take stuff off at different times. But I'm not pulling it back. Now, yes, I am human. I do forget. And I have to remind myself. So sometimes you can go on a 30, most people won't make it, a 30-day mental challenge, right? So for 30 days, you can't think anything negative or say anything negative about yourself. And if you do within that 30 days, you got to go back, right? I have to be mindful of my energy when cooking because I can tell the difference when it's not right. Oh, Grace, you make the best vegetarian bean pies. Yeah, you do, Grace. You're very, very important when you're cooking. You have to be very mindful about, where you are with that. So with my vision board, as I was saying, that I've been fortunate enough is to have things manifest in my life because of the energy. And as I said, the universe does not know good or bad. It just gives you what you ask for. And so what are you asking for? And I talked about that last week. That's why I wanted to come back and talk about this again. Are you asking for broke? Are you asking for not having a man in your life? Are you asking for, I can't pay my rent? Are you asking for, I can't buy clothes? I can't get a new car? Because that's what I hear people doing that all the time. I can't get a new car. I can't. No. Right now, what? My money's circulating. Right now, I'm doing other things. Right now, but eventually it's going to happen. But what are you asking for? Oh, hold on, everyone. Okay. So it's important to really think about all the time. What are you thinking? So your 30-day mental challenge is where you don't think anything for 30 days. Otherwise, you have to go back to the first day again. And so every day you think about, what am I saying? Because what I wrote down last night, we have, what do I have? Oh, here it is. Between 12,000 to 6,000 thoughts per day. And 80% of them are negative thoughts. The National Science Foundation did some research on that. Can you imagine that? 80% of your thoughts are negative. And 95% are repetitive. You're thinking the same thing over and over and over and over again. So what are you thinking? Like, stop right now. What are you thinking? You might think, oh, I'm listening to you. But what are you saying about yourself? And then, oh, my God, you're sitting there, the nail should have been, oh, Lord, I should have put some lotion on my leg. Oh, God, my hair. Oh, geez, I wish my skin was a little. All those things are negative thoughts. How do you think people with money keep their money? Because they wake up in the morning knowing that I am rich and I am wealthy. And it's always around me. But part of it is their consciousness. And we have poverty consciousness in our community. Serious poverty consciousness. So we have to really think about, well, how do we change it? Just think about your ancestors. They're in the fields. They are picking cotton or tobacco or rice or whatever it is. But some of them were saying, I'm going to get the hell out of here. I don't know when, don't know how, but I'm going to make a plan. And some of them did. And some of them did. And they got the hell out of there and walked for hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of miles. We won't even walk to a store in our community. If we won't walk past a store in our community that's disrespecting us because we don't want to have to walk an extra block. But yet they walk miles, hundreds of miles to get away from the plantation that they were on. There was some insurrection. A lot of them fought. They don't talk about it. So we just have to, okay. A lot of them did that. So you have to think they thought. Then they used the sound and they got together and they did some things. But what are we doing when we have all these tools and we're just looping in this loop and just in this loop and can't seem to get out of this loop? Or like I talked about being a tumbleweed and you're just just moving along wherever the wind blows you. No direction at all. Just kind of tumbleweed. And, you know, a man comes in your life, he's like, oh, he likes me, so okay, I guess I'll just go ahead and deal with him. But you don't even like him, but he likes you, so okay, it's okay. Think about that. Think about that energy. And we won't even talk about that whole energy exchange between a man and a woman in terms of sex. That's another whole kind of, I could have a whole show on just sexual energy and what goes on, you know, in that. So the thing is about who are you? What are you doing with your energy? And I gave you some tools about how you can just still yourself and start really listening to what is being said and being obedient. Does that mean that, yep, sometimes you got to get out of bed when you don't want to get out? Yep, you got to look at it mind, body, and spirit. You got to get up. You got to do a practice. And, you know, practice is not, people think that means you got to get up, you got to meditate, you got to do a yoga position. No. A practice could be anything. I'm in a group of Artist Way. Sister, we're doing some Artist Way. That's going to be my practice for a while. It's just getting up and doing my morning pages. That's going to be my practice. Your practice can be anything that keeps you in that, where you start becoming disciplined about what it is you want to do. Your practice is getting up, writing in the journal, or just writing on the wall that I am healthy, if that's what you're trying to do to be healthy. And knowing that you are healthy and listening out. What else do I need to do to be healthy? Oh, it must mean I need to get out and walk. Oh, it must mean I need to get up and do some stretches. Oh, it just means I need to really look at my food. Spiritually, what does it mean? I need to connect with myself. Maybe some people go to church. Maybe some people practice Buddhism. Maybe some people do Wicca. Maybe some people do voodoo. Maybe whatever it is that keeps you grounded, because you have to be grounded in order to receive the messages. You can't just be flying out here, getting high all the time, drinking all the time, because then that takes your senses to another whole level. Yeah, I drink. I don't do it. I don't drink to the point where I'm drunk and then everything is just out there. Moderation, and it's about me being mindful. And I think as a community, we have to start being conscious of what we are saying, what we are doing, why we are doing it, and not just following along. Is it going to be different for you? Yeah, it is. Are people not going to understand? Yeah, probably not. But that's okay too. So once you realize that everything is energy and that you can control that energy, it's going to make a big difference in your life. A big difference in your life. From the way that you cook, the way that you dress, the way that you see people, the way that you carry yourself. One of the things that me, and I'll be 69 this year. I have never been called out of my name by a man. Even walking down the street and the brothers on the street. When I walk down the street, the brothers stop, always, gang members, whatever, move aside. And I always come with them with respect. Hey brothers, how you doing? And they, how you doing, miss? How you doing? And they move up. Man, move out the way. Stop cussing. You see the lady coming? That's always been, my entire life has always been like that. But that's about me coming with respect. Before I even get up, I'm already got that energy about respecting it, because they are human beings and they doing whatever it is. And everybody's doing the best that they can with the resources that what they have. We're all seeking enlightenment. We're all seeking for something better, but they just don't have some of the tools. So when I walk through or walk up on these brothers, they're always respectful. But you can't come in there with your, hey, niggas out here on the corner, you know, here we go. No, that's not how we, that's not how I do. I always treat them, hey, brother, hey, sister, always use that. And I've been doing that since the 60s, and I haven't changed. People, yeah, I'm not, back in the day, I'm not your brother. Well, you know, okay, brother, I hear you. But I always do that. And so I've done that to a couple older brothers. They're like, man, they go back to that. Yeah, brother and sister, I like that. Yes, okay. But that's me, and I'm going to be who I am, and I always treat them with respect, and they are my brothers and my sisters, always. And we'll continue to do that. So I got some little notes up here to remind me of some things I want to make sure that you understand. Okay, so the communication and the energy can connect with your ancestors. And as I said, the ancestors are out there waiting for you, grandmothers, grandfathers, and uncles and aunts, and they're out there waiting, and they will help do your bidding. They will help you manifest. They will help you to receive some of the things that you want to receive. But you have to know what you want. And sometimes we'll ask people what they want, and then next 5 minutes they want something else. But what do you really want? Because you can focus on that one thing. Once you get that and it's been achieved, then you can move to the next thing and to the next thing. So I had a group of people that I worked with in San Diego, and we came together, and we would come together, you know, maybe once a month or so. And in this group, we decided that we were going to focus on one person's desires. So we had a sister that called us together one time, and she said, look, I need to go to Africa, and I need $5,000, and I need it within a week. So we said, okay. We all got together, and what we did was we went to a meditation. And we stayed in the meditation for it went so fast, for like 30 minutes. Came out of the meditation, each one of us told what we saw her doing in Africa. So people saw her here, and they saw her there, and she was buying this, and she was meeting with these different chiefs, and she was doing all this kind of things. And so she said, oh my God, I can really feel it. You can feel that energy in, you know, when you're doing that. And she was so excited and everything. And within 5 days, she called us and said, yep, I got my $5,000. I'm going to Africa. Now, we never asked her where the money came from, why, who, what, where, but she got it. And then she went to Africa. And so we would get together and do that. And what we would do is just meditate in a group, in a circle, and then just see whatever it is that person wants to achieve and their desires, and we would feel it within our being, and we would have manifestations all over the place. But what was it about? It was about us all focusing. We came together, and we all focused on one person at a time. So that's one thing you can do with your circle of your friends. You can get them together, and you all can do those same kind of things. This is something that I've seen. And to tell you how powerful it can be, there was a brother that had a group, a circle, and they had one person from each zodiac sign in his group who brought them together, and they would meditate. And so they had been doing this for months and months and months. And they would come together, and so they meditated until they got to the point, and they always had one person that's a watcher. So the person's a watcher who's on the outside. They're not meditating, they're just watching. And they came together, they meditated. They got to the point that their meditations were so intense that they were able to connect on another level where they would see each other in this meditation, right? I mean, it got to be so tough. It got to the point that the meditations got so tight that it put a blip on the radar. Now you're going to think, now that's really crazy. Next thing they know, the FBI ended up coming to one of their sessions and told them, you got one or two things you can do. You can let us monitor what you're doing, or you can shut it down. And they decide to shut it down. So they shut it down, and with the person who was in charge of it, he got locked down and couldn't leave his state for a whole year. He wouldn't tell him what was going on or anything, and so they just had him locked down. So I was able to meet him and what have you and talk to him about it. It was really, really deep. Because meditation as a group, we focus on, you can really change some things. And I think some of those things happen when people were enslaved and wanted to, because you think about how it was more than just I'm running. It's not just running. It's about you running, escaping. It's about listening, knowing when to move, not when to move, knowing when to shift and knowing when to change. But that's about that's a connection. That ain't just okay, I'm just going to run away today. No, it's planning, but it's about listening. And I think about that. And I think for me, when I moved down south and I lived there for a while, and I went through the woods and what have you, I was like, man, I could even feel the ancestors, feel them in the woods. I could just feel them and I was looking at the roots and all the different things. And I was like, oh my God, they had to go through all of this to escape. That's a lot. That's a lot. And so you had to listen. You had to listen. And even when you read about Harriet Tubman, you had to listen and know when to go, when not to go, when to. And so we have gotten away from that because what? Oh, we got the internet, we got this, we can look around or whatever. And so we got away from it, but we got to go back to it because when the little children are born, they have it. And then when they start to school and start doing other things and everybody, you don't hear about that, then you suppress it. You don't lose it. So that's what I'm telling you. All of you have it. Each one of you have it. It's about starting to listen, start to pay attention, start to quiet yourself, and then just listen and hear what you're going to hear. You'll be so excited to hear about those things. I put my email address so when you have those experiences, then you will send me and say, oh my God, I had this. Oh my God. And listen to little children. Oh my God, little children will tell you all kinds of things. Most of the people be like, be quiet, be quiet. But if you listen to children and what they're having to say, they'll tell you all kinds of things. You'll be like, what? Wait a minute, what? Did you hear Grandma? Or Grandma, you don't even, how do you know about my mother? You never met her. Oh, I can hear, I can see, sometimes she come visit me at school. You will be really surprised. It's not spooky. It's not scary. It's what our people have always done. And so we have to get back into that to help us lead us out some of this madness that we're in, And I think a lot of times I always say, I think drug dealers really tap into it because, you can see somebody standing on the corner and they selling or slinging or whatever. And all of a sudden they disappear. And next thing you know, the police is coming around. You be like, what the hell? It's like, oh, something ain't feeling right. Or how many times have you been someplace and you're sitting and you be like, some shit getting ready to break out. I got to get the hell out of here. And you get up and leave. And next thing you know, girl, when you left, so-and-so came in and this happened or that happened. Or as soon as somebody comes into the room, how many times you've been like, I know some shit getting ready to start. Here she comes. I can feel it already. Now, she hasn't said anything, then you know. When you feel that, get out. I was on the bus one day and this gentleman came and sat right in front of me and my daughter. We were on the bus. And she looked at me and I looked at her and she said, mm-mm. And I said, he has so much rage in him. He is going to kill someone or he's already done some damage to someone. And we got up from that seat and moved back because I was like, oh my God, I could just feel the rage in him. When you around something like that, get up and go. I was on the bus with a little boy, Latino little boy, and he looked at me and I looked at him and I said, oh my God, somebody's going to hurt this child. And I just started praying for him. praying and praying and praying. So a lot of times you can also be an empath, which means you feel other people's stuff as well. So that can all affect you too. But when you're an empath, or you can feel something like, or the energy's on you, you have to learn how to let those kind of energy off. So a lot of times if you're someplace, I'm going to share with you, if you're someplace, let's say you know something's getting ready to break out, or you know something's getting ready to happen to somebody, and you can feel that energy on, you want to make sure that you take that energy and you just take it off you as quickly as you can. A lot of times if you're outside, you can just throw it in the wind. But if you're near a window, you can take it off of you and gather it up and throw it out the window. Because what happens is if you don't, then you keep all that energy on you, and that will make you sick. So I guess I have to do a show sometime, talk about seeing energy and how to, to get that energy off of you. Because a lot of times energy, and when you become more light worker, you're going to see people are going to feel start coming to and saying things and asking you questions and what have you. And so because everything is connected, you have to start really paying attention to everything, right? I'm on the airline, a woman sitting next to me, and she has a drink. And there's no reason for this drink to even me to have this interaction. Next thing you know, her drink falls on me, and I said, "Oh my God!" And she said, "Oh my God, my drink! Oh my God!" And so I said, "Okay, so what's going on?" And she said, "What?" I said, "Something's going on, because there was no reason for that drink to fall on me. So there must be something you want to talk to me about. You want to talk about something." She said, "Oh my God, my mother-in-law, she just made me crazy. I got to go see her. I'm pregnant." So we had this whole conversation. So what I start doing is when people bump into you, or you're sitting someplace, or they sit next to you, or whatever, strike up that comment, because usually something's going on. And when you are a light being, people will start getting attracted to you. You'll be sitting in a theater, right? And there's seats all around, and people come sit right next to you. You think, what the hell are they sitting next to me for? It's fine. It's about your light. Or you get in a bus, or you park your car, and it's a big parking lot, and they park next to you. And you think, what the hell is that? It's about your light. It's about your light. And so you have to keep yourself protected all the time, because when you open up and you get this energy and you start hearing and seeing whatever, then people get attracted to you. So a lot of times you can put yourself in a bubble. You just see yourself before you leave the house. You say, okay, I see myself in the bubble. I'm protected and everything's cool. Or maybe you start listening. I'm driving down the street. You could be driving down the street. You say, why do I feel like somebody's going to hit me from the side? What the hell is that? Why would a car just all of a sudden just see your car and see the car with the bubble all around it? And for me, I have some African warriors that come, and I just have the warriors all around my car, right? And these are warriors with spears and stuff. So I have them around my car, so they're protecting me. And then sure enough, I'll be at a stoplight, and then when it turns green, I'll wait a little minute, and the car will come zooming through, which means they would have hit me if I had went out there. But that's about me listening, or if I feel like something is invading my space, then I protect myself. You can surround yourself with white light. You can surround yourself with a bubble. Sometimes if I'm driving down the street and I got to be somewhere fast and I don't want a ticket, then I say, okay, I see my car, and I see it surrounded with blue flame, purple flames, and I'm protected. And so now I can go a little faster. Now, I'm not telling you to zoom down the street. So my Shquestra told me I could put my car in blue flame and purple flames, and I could just go 100 miles an hour. No, that's not what I'm telling you. I'm telling you sometimes when you're late and you have to be somewhere, you just kind of protect your car and yourself so that you will not get a ticket. That's all I'm saying. So there's many techniques that one can use when one becomes aware of their energy and how you are serving the creator, because my energy is also to serve the creator and to help people and to share. And when I keep saying this over and over and over, when the student is ready, the master will appear. And so when you are ready, then you will have these, you'll hear about different things and different seminars. And I've been doing tons of online things for free. And so you just have to be ready and then be open, and it will come to you. So let me give you, okay. So today I just ordered a wonderful book, and it's called The Soul's Journey. It's actually cards. The Soul's Journey. And you just pull these cards out. And what I like about these cards is it's so easy because you can just pull one card out each day. And you say, you know, Creator, what is my lesson for today? Or what do I need to learn today? And then, boop, you pull a card out. I think last week I showed you the Mother Peace card. So I'm showing you all different kind of cards. You have to just vibe with different cards. And I used to go to the Bodhi tree in Los Angeles. If anybody knows about the Bodhi tree in Los Angeles, you can go, and I would just stay for hours and hours. And so years ago, probably 1990, I don't know, 3 or 4, I went to the Bodhi tree, and then I fell off the shelf. Sunlight on Water. I'll tell you about Sunlight on Water. Sunlight on Water is a book. It's a manual for soulful living. It has, oh my God, it's so delicious. I mean, that's how I love the book so much. It's like delicious. And so I had the book. I left Los Angeles, and I couldn't take all my books with me, so I gave them to different people that I thought would really like them. And so this to my sister Mo, she had the Sunlight on the Water. I gave this to her. So I haven't had one for years, and so I was looking for something the other day, a book. So I'm always looking for books, and I saw it, and I just screamed. I was like, "Oh my God! Oh my God!" And my heart skipped a beat. I was like, "Oh my God! Sunlight on the Water." This book has like almost 432 pages in it, and it gives you all kinds of exercises and just rituals and just things you can do for yourself. But it's just it's written like the ones with no names. It talks about the masters and ancient ones, and oh my God, it's just and you sleep with the book under your pillow as well. It's just, oh my God, you know, I love rituals and what have you. So for me, this is just, it was kind of expensive though. I usually don't pay as much as I did for this book, but I had not had it in years, and so now I'm going through the whole book, reading it again. Like I said, it's 400 and something pages, but it's just talking about us being light and how you can experience the light and how you can become the light and the energy that you have. And it's just so delicious. I'm just so excited about having the Sunlight on the Water. Okay, let me see what someone's saying. Yes, so I'm so excited about that. So how can we prosper if our thoughts are Okay, so we talked about poverty consciousness. We talked about how we have to change our poverty consciousness. See, how many times has issues? Where does it? Okay, so, and we talked about our energy, because the energy is the most important. My light's going out a little bit. I have these lights that are just so interesting. So we have to really start thinking about number one, what do we want? That's number one. Decide what you want. Start focusing on the one thing that you want. Start turning your energy toward that. Don't be back and forth. If it's to increase your wealth. So see yourself increasing that wealth. Get your vision board. Put a lot of money on your vision board so it keeps you focused. I'm about this wealth. But the one thing you want to do is you got to do the work. You got to do the work. And so one thing I'll say about Earth Mama Network, Rolanda has sisters and brothers that are on these shows. These are people that are doing the work. These are not no slackers at all. And so we all have done work. We've all worked on ourselves. Yeah, we're all a work in progress. We still have some things to do. And we always have things to do. But we're all on different levels, but equal, if that makes sense. And so we're working toward doing what we need to do for ourselves and our community. I'm sharing all these things with you because some other people have asked me to come and share things with their group, but I didn't want to do it. I wanted to share it with our community so that we would know how powerful we are. And I think if nothing else, just walk away knowing how powerful you are and how everything has been downloaded into you. Just have to tap into it. And some of us have tapped into it and went, woo, and just took off. And others of us have got that poverty consciousness, and we're having an issue trying to escape from that poverty consciousness, but you can escape from it. You have to know, first of all, that you're worthy, because a lot of times we don't think we're worthy. We say we are, but we really don't believe that we're worthy. And so we keep getting on that train. It keeps looping around. It goes nowhere, like a little Amtrak thing just goes around and around and around. You know, oh, is it true that Harrington was a federal informant? Oh, I don't know about all about that. I can't tell you about Harry Tubman. I'm just talking about the fact that she was able to tap in and be able to escape, but I'm not a historian on that. Oh, but I do want to mention that Dr. Patricia Newton is now with found that today on Facebook, and this was a serious sister that was a historian, and she used to be part of the Melanin Conference that they used to have back in the day in DC. So I just wanted to mention her name because she has really done a lot to further us in terms of history for African Americans. So I just wanted to mention about Sister Newton. But I hope that you really, you know, think about what we talked about today, how you are on this planet for a reason, because if not, your egg would have went someplace else and you would not be here. So the fact that you are here and you're on the earth, then there is a reason for you to be here. And so what is it? And are you being who you really want to be? And how you can take that energy and be who you want to be and stand up for what you want to be and be healthy and wealthy, whatever that is for you, because for everybody, it's not the same. Some people say they need tons and tons of money, and other people, they don't. And then find out, what is your purpose? Is it to be patient? Is it to be passionate? Is it to be mindful? Is it to be to spread knowledge? Is it to be art? Whatever it is, it's different for everyone. But find out and feel comfortable with who you are, because that's the most important. As I'm getting older and older, I'm realizing it's important for you to be who you really, really are. And if it means putting feathers in your head, then put feathers in your head. And if it means wearing Birkenstocks, you know, with some sweatpants, then wear your Birkenstocks with a sweatpants. Who the hell cares? You know, be who you want to be and enjoy your life on the planet. Because some people didn't wake up this morning. And the fact, like I said, that spark of life came, yeah, you're supposed to be here. And you chose to be here, because you could have had a choice where you didn't. You could have left, and you didn't. And you stayed here. And you're working through some things, and you're working through, as they call the Earth School. And the Earth School is a bitch. I would tell you, Earth School is a trip, you know, and to getting through it is some shit. And sometimes feel like it's fucked up, and it is. But we got to get through it, and we got to tap into who we are. When I get real crazy, I go back and cleanse who I am and go into that stillness and say, okay, I give myself 9 seconds to freak out. Because usually I do 9 seconds. That's all. I ain't gonna give myself 10. 5 seconds, freak out. Okay, you freaked out. Now what we gonna do? And that's about doing the work. Because there's always more than one choice. There's always more than one answer. So you just got to figure out, what am I gonna do? And it's all within you. Everything you need is within you. You don't need to ask nobody. You don't have to really get no cards. You ain't got to get nothing, astrology, nothing. It is within you. All you got to do is tap into it and say, Creator, what is it? How do I serve you? What do I need to do for me? How do I make me feel better? That's all you got to do. And trust me, I'm almost 70. Trust me, it will change. So I just want to thank you so much for coming in. I hope I've given you some resources and had you think about yourself. Make sure you protect yourself when you go out there, because as you start opening up, people are going to start coming toward you like a magnet. So you're going to keep yourself protected. And so I want to thank you so much. Oh, Mercedes, thank you, and Grace, and all my sisters that we have worked together and done so many things. And these are some powerful sisters. I don't mess around with sisters that don't do the work. So these sisters have always done the work. And I appreciate you for supporting me. And so I will see you next week. And I got to think about what we're going to talk about or who I'm going to have. So I will see you next week. Have a great week. I want you to send me some email. Let me know what came through, opening up. and let me know how it's going. Any messages or any kind of things you want, just reach out to me. I'm always around. Yeah, I'm retired. So have a great week, and I will see you next week. Peace, wear a mask, and stay healthy. All right.